Talking about with Title 42 dropping
Well, Title 42 dropped, what, 2 weeks ago?
2.5.
Yeah, something like that. And it, in my opinion, it needed to go away. It was a crutch. And basically, it was there to protect, yes, those, our country from people coming across bringing those contagious disease. It was also put in place for our law enforcement and other workers along the border to try to protect them. So eventually it had to go away. At first, when they were talking about it going away, we saw a bit of an influx. But for some reason, of course, the governor, the Border Patrol set up, they were going to do this, that, and that. The governor, they had a stare down competition. The federal government blinked. The governor got his way. We got the barbed wire up, we got the concertina wire, we got the containers stacked up, protecting the border. When they tried to come across, DPS repelled them. Said, nope, not coming through. They tried to get through some gates. DPS had the gates locked. Nobody was allowed to open them. So DPS is doing what the federal government should have been doing. Mm-hmm. So the Haitian issue that's in McAllen right now, or I should say in Reynosa right now, in Matamoros, is being contained there. Mm-hmm. But the Venezuelans are on the way up this way. We just don't know where yet. Mm-hmm. So I think, yes, our smuggling has stayed constant. What we're seeing on our cameras has remained at about the same level. But we haven't seen the mass influx that we thought we were going to get.
Do you think that it's maybe lingering out there?
I think it's the eye of the storm. I think there's something in the works. It's just what's going to happen, who's going to head it up, and who's going to push it. Well, I've called for the impeachment of Mayorkas. I sent him a personal letter asking him to resign because he is failing to do his job.
Has he responded to you?
Oh, no, he's not going to respond. It's just a single fat sheriff sending him a letter. Who cares? The thing is, when he took that oath of office, he swore allegiance to the Constitution, not to the Democratic Party, which he is allegiant to. Chief Ortiz, like I've told you before, I've known that man for 30 some odd years. He grew up down the street from me. Our parents knew each other. Yeah, we go way, way back. He has the ability. He has the authority. He has the law on his side to stop this. But his higher ups are now allowing him to do what he's paid to do. It's politics. So he's stuck between a rock and a hard place. And I understand that. I've talked to him several times since all this began. We've been on a couple of Senate subcommittees where we've been questioning and giving our points of view. Yeah. And we talk. And we still have friends in common. We talk about what's going on, but we also talk, how are the kids, how's your wife, how's this, that, and other, what happened to so-and-so, stuff like that. So yes, we do have open communication. We talk. We know each other. So, but his hands are literally tied. It's been politicized by both sides.
Yeah.
The Democrats are saying there's nothing here. The Republicans are saying, elect me and I'll solve this problem. And it's not getting solved.
Yeah.
The thing is,
what's going to solve it?
Enforcing the law. We're starting to get some headway. Because all of a sudden, Chicago, New York, Denver, Philadelphia are saying, whoa, we can't handle this mass influx of people that you're sending us. You can't do this. They're sanctuary cities. Now these people are talking about declaring themselves non-sanctuary cities.
Right.
Because we can't handle this crisis, but they expect us here in the state of Texas to be able to absorb all these people that are coming across. And we can't do it. We can't do it as a state. We can't do it as a country. Dallas can't handle all of it. Houston, your bigger cities, because that's where a lot of them migrate to. They can't handle it. So what's your next option? Okay, we're going to give you bus fare to Denver. We're going to give you bus fare to Portland, wherever. Go up there and wait for your hearing. Yeah. But now all of a sudden it's not humanitarian to send them to New York or to Denver or to wherever, because we don't have the facilities. We don't need them. And I was asked one time, I said, well, how big is Kinney County? It's 1,300 square miles. Well, then why are you busing them to wherever? We only have one town, and it's 1,700 people. We don't have the infrastructure. If we were to get a mass increase in population of, say, 50, and each one of those 50 had kids, that's 50 additional kids to the school district. We're not prepared for it. We can't handle an influx like that. So how are we going to handle? I don't know. Just here in the county alone, we've probably arrested close to 3,000 last year. We can't accommodate that.
And you guys are one of the only counties that are actually arresting them for trespassing. Mm-hmm. And do you think that policy has forced the cartel to rethink coming through here?
No.
No.
Now the number of people that we've arrested for criminal trespass and for human smuggling, and those that have been caught in the smuggling endeavor that were being smuggled, we're not even a hiccup compared to what's going on in the big picture. If we're still catching 70, 80 smugglers a month, how many are getting through? If we really truly had it shut down, we'd only be getting 5 or 6 a month, but we're getting 5 or 6 a day. So they're just overwhelming the system. We need personnel that are willing to do the job, people that are willing to sacrifice a little bit of extra time to come down here and work in a law enforcement capacity.
Are you guys hiring?
If we had the money, I could. So I mean, yeah, I mean, but I got to find the people.
Yeah.
I mean, in this part of the country, and even with attorneys, you can offer an attorney $150,000, $200,000 a year to come down here and help us prosecute, but they don't want to come unless you're from the border. Nobody wants to live on the border unless you come down here with the border patrol or customs or you're born here. Nobody wants to come down here and live. We're not a third world country. We're somewhere between 2.5 and 3. But it's a different environment. I've known people that with the border patrol that were from New York, from Queens, New York. This was the job they wanted. They'd seen it online. They applied for it. They got the job. They moved to Brackettville. They took a look around. They're here 2 years. Like, I can't deal with this because there's nothing to do. There's something to do. You just have to find out what your niche is. But unless you're from this part of the country.
Let me ask you this, and Gavin might chime in on this too. Before we came down here and spent some time with you guys, to make sure we kept our story balanced, we also spent some time with migrants that have illegally entered the U.S. And we asked them if they could ask you one thing. What would they ask you, Gavin? To paraphrase it, essentially some of these people were saying that they have a right to migrate. That's what they truly believe.
It's a human instinct.
Yeah.
I mean, you look back. I mean, if you go way back in time, as a human being, I would use the word, we're as a species, we're migratory. I mean, the Bering Strait, it's kind of a proven fact that everything started in Asia and everything. They just kind of migrated this way. We are nomadic people. We are a nomadic species. We've moved all over the country. Yes, people have a right to migrate, get up and move, but there's a legal way to do it. As long as they follow the guidelines, make their application, apply properly, pay the fees. Come on over. If you meet the criteria, I'll hire you. I don't have a problem with that. The system needs to be revamped because, I mean, my in-laws, they all migrated in from Mexico. They did it the legal way, but it took a while. If you immigrate into the United States, you're a legal resident alien, you want to go for citizenship, it's a 6 to 10 year wait, plus the legal fees, plus the documentation and everything else. You've got to prove that you're here lawfully. There's a lot of things to do. I think that system probably needs to be streamlined a little bit.
As a sheriff of a border county, you think it needs to be streamlined?
Because there's a lot of people, and I'm not just talking Mexico, Guatemala, Brazil, China, whoever, that can, what's the word I'm looking for, be beneficial to the society, help us out, with their technology, with their knowledge, with their skills, to come over and be productive working citizens, not have to live in the shadows, not be forced into some type of indentured slavery. So the system, yes, it needs to be probably revamped.
And that's a lawmaker's job.
That's a lawmaker's job.
Let me ask you this. A lot of people are kind of confused as to how some of these migrants that enter illegally, they pay the cartel anywhere from a couple thousand to $10,000
and $20,000, yeah.
So a lot of people initially say, well, how can they afford $10,000 to $20,000 to come to the United States when most Americans don't even have that in their bank account? What can you explain, like, how they're paying it? Because from what I understand is they actually really don't pay it up front.
They don't.
Can you talk about that?
Yeah, no, they don't pay the money up front. It's it's basically a loan. We're going to smuggle you. We're going to get you. We'll just use Venezuelans, for example. We're going to get you from Venezuela to the Mexican border for X number of dollars. We'll get you into the United States for X number of dollars more. Now, once you're there, if something happens, you get caught in the smuggling venture, the intel we have, they get 3 shots. We catch them, they go back, we catch them again, they go back, catch them again. They're still on the first nickel. If anything after that, well, then they have to pay another fee to try it a 4th time. So they're being brought in, and a lot of them already have jobs assigned to them. We're going to get you to Greenville, South Carolina. You're going to work in the onion fields. You're going to work with the ranchers out there and the farmers out there until you pay us back. So basically, it's indentured slavery. They say, okay, you're going to work on this ranch. So you're going to pick onions. Okay. So now you're living here on the property. We've got you a house, but we're going to have to charge you rent. So it's $100 a week for rent. You need tools to help pick the onions. You have to buy your gloves. You're going to have to borrow our shovel. We'll rent you the shovel. We'll rent you the wheelbarrow for $1 a day. So now you already owe them $20,000 for being smuggled here. They're paying you, I don't know, say $50 a day.
Did you say they're running this like a credit card company?
Pretty much so. That's a good analogy.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah. So I charge you rent. You have to pay me rent, but you still owe me the $20,000.
And what happens if they don't pay it?
Well, then they're holding your family hostage. We know you're from Guanajuato, Mexico. We know where your family lives. You owe us this amount of money, or say goodbye to mom and dad.
Would you classify these cartels as terrorist organizations?
To a degree, yes. But
why do you think the federal government is hesitant on declaring them?
That question is one of the things that's always been asked, and I made some stuff, talked to people, and researched some stuff, etc. The primary reason that we cannot declare them as a terrorist organization is because then it would open up the entire country of Mexico to be eligible for political asylum. Because once they're declared a terrorist organization, just like we did with ISIS and everybody in the Middle East when the war was going on, the Taliban, the whole 9 yards, the people that were fearing prosecution from the Taliban and from ISIS, et cetera,
they have a legitimate
claim
asylum,
to
and the border
political
can't
asylum.
handle that. So they're kind of, I mean, it's almost like they're at a standstill.
So, yes. So the cartels are in a win-win situation.
So how do you stop these people? What do you do?
That's the $64 question. How do we stop it? How do we prevent it?
Because the Mexican government has proven themselves incapable.
And the cartels are a shadow government. We all know that.
Yeah,
we know who's running what. They control both sides of the border.
Do you think the cartel has infiltrated U.S. law enforcement?
Oh, without a doubt. Even when I was young in the Border Patrol, there was always somebody that was being arrested for helping smuggle dope to the checkpoint, or they were helping bring aliens across, et cetera, et cetera. As long as there's money involved, you're always going to have corruption. Always. Yeah. As long as there's big money involved. And once they get you on the hook, okay, we're going to pay you $50,000 if you'll let this dope load go through.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah, here's $50,000. Here you go. I got 50 grand. Boom. Now you're on the hook. Now they come up to you and say, you know what? The next 3 loads, you're going to let them through. Well, how much am I going to pay? I ain't paying you a dime. I already got you. I've already got you the $50,000. Now you're working for me. I'll pay you when I feel like paying you. So now you're hung. So yeah, they'll throw you a bone for every once in a while. Okay, here's 10 grand, here's 5 grand, here's whatever the case may be. But once they get you on that hook, it's not going to be $50,000 every time they run a load through.
Yeah.
It's going to be whatever they feel like paying you. And if you get paid the first time, you're going to be lucky. We're going to give you 50 grand to run this load through. We're going to give you 20 up front. Okay. So where's my other 30? You know what? What are you going to do? Arrest us? So.
Obviously, you're no fan of the current administration. I mean, you got a yeah.
I've got a cardboard cutout of Kamala Harris right there.
Why do you have that here? I'm just curious.
And it goes with the First Amendment. I've got the free speech. I can say to her whatever I need to say to her. I can sit her in that charge, which I've done before, and we've done mock interviews, etc. But the thing is, all of them in Washington, with the exception of very few, at some point in time need to go away. They need to step down. You shouldn't be in that office. Look at Dianne Feinstein. The poor woman has no clue where she's at, yet she's still in office. Fetterman can't even coherently speak anymore, still in office. And that's one thing, I've told the deputies here, I've told the judge, everybody, my wife included, that for me, I'll do one more term. If I'm lucky, if I get elected, I'll do one more term. I'm done. No matter how much fun I'm having, it'll be time to turn this over to somebody smarter, better looking, and younger. And hopefully we'll get them. But No matter what happens, third term, I'm done. That's my goal. Make that third term. When I'll be at the end of that term, I'll be 70. I'm walking away. And if I have 2 bad days in a row, even in the middle of this term, I'll give it up as long as it quits being fun. Because I'm still having. I mean, with all the chaos, with everything, I still get to hang out with the kids. I still get to hang out with the people over at the nutrition center. I get to talk to people in Walmart and the grocery stores and everything. I'm still enjoying my job.
Talk about being a small county sheriff. Like what? I mean, listen, I'll be honest with you. We're from California. I've never seen our chiefs wearing a cowboy hat. He's got the old school, duty belt and whatnot. What's it like being a small county sheriff? I mean, do you know everybody?
Damn near. Yeah, I know.
What's a normal day for you? Like, what do you?
Well, you want pre-invasion or post-invasion? Pre-invasion. Every morning I'd make my round. I still make my rounds. I cruise up on the fort. I make the rounds through town, see whose cars are where, see what's going on, see who's awake. Maybe a trash can is blown over, need to stop and pick it up, whatever. Come to the office, do my deal. Then I go hang out at the school for a little bit, read to the kids, hang out with the kids. Same thing, I cruise through the fort. And part of that job is a small town sheriff, Andy Griffith style deal. I'm driving by. Some woman's got the hatchback of her Suburban open, and she's got a ton of groceries. I'll stop and help her take groceries in. It's not just the sheriff thing to do. It's the correct thing to do. It's the Christian thing to do, to talk to the people of your community. What do you expect from me? When I talk to some of these people, well, and one of the things, what are you going to do for me if you're elected sheriff? Well, I'm going to do this, this, and this. Let me ask you a question. What do you want me to do for you? What do you expect out of me? You tell me what you expect out of me, and that gives me some guidance to go on. What do you expect? And a lot of people didn't know how to answer that. Well, what do you expect of yourself? Well, I expect myself to be here. I expect myself to be on call 24/7. I expect to hear from you if you think I'm doing something wrong. Do not be afraid to pick up the phone and call and voice your opinion. That's part of the process. And sometimes I don't get to listen as much as I did at first because of everything else going on, but I still try to make that time. And you can ask my wife. I'm up till 11:30, 12 o'clock every night answering emails and answering text messages that I haven't been able to get through during the day. And my vehicle seizure girl, she said, who sends messages out on vehicle seizures at 1 o'clock in the morning? I said, I was up. It was on my mind. I needed to clear it up. So I shot you an email so I won't forget, because come morning time, I'll probably forget.
You have any message for anyone that wants to drive a car full of smugglers through your county?
Don't do it. I mean, seriously. And that's the other thing the cartels are doing, these smugglers. I'm the smuggler. I've got some people I need to push. I call you or I text you, hey, I've got 100 plus people that we need to move across. Get it lined up. So you send your WhatsApp message to him, then he starts reaching out. So he finds some person that down on their luck, and we've had a number of them, and I talked to a lot of them, that something's happened in their life that they need money right now. So they get wrapped into this. They come down here. They get caught. We try to debrief them. We try to talk to them. And they'll say, all I know is I got a message on Facebook that I can make some money doing this. Well, who was it from? And it's some fictitious name. It's hard. We don't have the capability of tracking it, of going back and looking. So they're the ones in trouble. But me as the smuggler, me as head of the operation, I'm insulated by you, and whoever he's working for to get these people to come down here. So catching me, never going to happen. Catching you is never going to happen. Because
they make walls.
Yeah. Right. And then they turn around, they promise you, oh, we'll pay you $10,000 to bring these 10 people up. I've yet to hear anybody say, yeah, this is my third time. Last time I made $30,000. They go on that promise that they're going to get $10,000, and when they show up, if they're successful, they get it to, say, Dallas. They meet up there. I really don't think they get to 10 grand. What are they going to do if they don't get paid?
They can't. Yeah. No. 2 more questions. If you could say anything to President Biden or Vice President Kamala Harris, this is your opportunity.
When, of course, she's the border czar. Yeah. She's been to El Paso for, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes. Then she flew off to California. and I know it's never going to happen. I know they're, because of the Secret Service and policies and this and that, she is never going to come down here and jump in a vehicle with me or one of my deputies and go out and ride for the night. Just see what goes on. But if they could, either the vice president or the president, if they could, I'd say, come down here on a weekend, be prepared. We're going to work Friday night all the way to Sunday morning and let you see firsthand what we're having to deal with.
So you're inviting the president, the vice president,
I invite the president, the vice president,
Secretary Mayorkas.
Secretary Mayorkas, Nancy Pelosi, any of them that want to come down. And it's not going to be a 30-minute deal. I'd say, be here Friday afternoon, be prepared to work all the way to Sunday morning. Get firsthand look at what these guys are going through. Because my deputies are working 12, 14, 16 hours a day, 5, 6 days a week. The ones I would ask for those that are trying to enter is, what happened back home? Why? Is it, let me inside of your mind what is going on in your hometown. Is it because there's no employment? Is it because of the violence? Is it because of just things in general? Or did somebody promise you a piece of the pie that you'll never be able to receive? I mean, did they come in and say, let us smuggle you in and you'll be richer beyond your wildest dreams. You'll be in America. We'll get you a job. You'll have a car. Or are they showing them films of the Kardashians and this is how you're going to live? Or is there something significant in that county or in that particular state or town that they have to leave?
Some of them have been saying that they're leaving because of political instability. Like some of the Venezuelans say that their government is killing them even if they protest. And also they've also hinted at, because I asked, well, why don't you fight back? And they said, well, they took all our guns away.
Yes. Well, see, back in the early to mid 90s, Venezuela had the third strongest economy in the world. And then they elected a socialist government. And free handouts, they confiscated the guns, on and on and on down to what they're in today. If the United States does not pay attention, we're already going down that same road. But if they don't pay attention, that's where we're going to end up.
Venezuela.
Him too?
¿Los dos?
Todo.
Todo el mundo de Venezuela.
Una semana ya tenemos aquí. Hace donde entregamos a migración y nos dieron los papeles.
He's been living here for a week. Aquí mero una semana, ¿verdad?
Sí, conseguimos para conseguir los pasajes para poder seguir. Porque nosotros no contamos con los recursos para seguir viajando, no tenemos la plata, pues, ¿me entiendes?
¿Dónde quieren ir?
A Denver,
queremos llegar.
Nosotros llegamos a Denver,
en lo que nos ayudan con los pasajes para donde queramos.
Mira, pregúntale que si no tiene jale, chamba, para uno. Estamos sin chamba.
They're looking for chamba, which means work.
We're trying to go to Denver.
Queremos llegar a Denver porque en Denver ya nos están ayudando para agarrar para el destino que queremos.
Nos ayudan con el pasaje para Chicago.
¿Y por qué Denver te ayuda a llegar a Chicago?
No,
Porque somos emigrantes y nos están ayudando.
Porque allá nos están dando las ayudas para llegar a nuestro destino.
¿Y cuál ayuda te dan?
El pasaje.
¿Alguien que te da?
Te compran el boleto.
Te compran un boleto para donde tú vas.
Tu destino es por lo menos
Nueva York.
Nueva York, te dan el pasaje hasta allá.
¿Pero quién te está ayudando?
La iglesia.
The church helps them there.
The church.
Los refugios, los
Ask him,
albergues.
how does he know about to go to Denver? How does he know about the church?
Entonces, ¿cómo conoces ir ahí? ¿Quién te da la información de, ok, vale, vamos?
Todas las personas que han subido ya.
Esto estaba así, Todas las personas están allá. Tenemos muchos amigos allá arriba también. Muchos amigos que están allá esperando su pasaje para ir.
Do they have family in Chicago eventually? Because he wants to go to Chicago. Does he have family?
¿Por qué Chicago? ¿Por qué Chicago?
Porque es el país de las mujeres solteras. Sí, que hay bastante trabajo, nos han dicho muchos amigos que están allá.
Basically, there's work and there's girls. It's a good place to be.
How old are you?
¿Cuántos años tienes?
19.
Es un niño todavía.
Hey. Entonces, 19, ¿cuándo llegaron? ¿Cuándo salieron de Venezuela?
De Venezuela. Ya tenemos como 10 meses.
De agosto del año antepasado.
How much did they spend to get to the United States?
Yo me vine así limpio, sin uno. Me vine limpio, pelado. Y aquí estoy con Dios.
Did they have to pay any bribes? Did they have to pay a cartel?
Lo único coyote era Dios, que nos da el camino.
Nosotros es Dios.
To come from Venezuela, that's a long walk.
Dinos la historia, caminando.
Caminar y...
15 de agosto. De Ecuador salí con $50. Me alcanzó nada más hasta la frontera.
A la frontera de Ecuador.
De Ecuador con Colombia. Y escúchame, de ahí llegamos al tapón del Darién. La selva más peligrosa, una de las selvas más peligrosas del mundo. Y todo, por ahí pasamos.
They went through the jungle
Y
together.
sin guía, el único guía era Dios. Había culebras, cocodrilos, monos, albinos, todo.
Talk to me about the game.
Puma, habían pumas también.
¿Qué comieron?
Agua, la comieron de el agua.
Agua del río.
Sopa instantánea, maruchan.
Maruchan.
Cuando había. Y los pescados que cazaban.
Did they all make it here? They all came together and they all made
Y
it.
todos del grupo que empezaron, ¿todos llegaron o algunos no llegaron?
Ya todos están aquí ya.
En esa selva no todos salen vivos.
Claro,
Y mira
muchos
dónde
salieron y
estamos.
muchos murieron.
Hay mucho que tú vas por el camino y consigues gente muerta.
Muerta.
Mujeres embarazadas, muertas.
This guy walked months to get here, right? Ask him, why was it worth that?
¿Por qué nosotros queremos estar aquí? El por qué, el motivo. En realidad estamos aquí por la situación, ¿me entiendes? Por el futuro de nosotros. Ayudar a nuestra familia, por eso es que nosotros estamos aquí.
Porque en Venezuela nada avanza.
El sueldo de Venezuela son $10 mensual.
The average wage in Venezuela is $10 a month. $10 a month.
Mientras que aquí tú te lo puedes ganar en una hora. Lo que te ganes en un mes, ya te lo gané en una hora aquí.
What pushed them to come now?
Porque, bueno, yo lo hice porque ya en realidad donde estaba ya no estábamos haciendo nada, prácticamente como si estuviéramos en Venezuela y nosotros queríamos llegar a un lugar donde uno tenga trabajo, uno esté estable.
Arriendo.
Nosotros ya se trabajaba para dormir, para comer, más nada.
Allá todo cambia. Allá cuando estamos en Chile, por lo menos la plata rendía antes. Después todo subió. Todo subió mucho. Ya con la plata que tú tenías, ya no podías ni pagar el cuarto.
Talk to me about living out here. What have they experienced?
Es feo porque pasamos frío.
Mira, a veces hay momentos que no comemos.
Todos estos días tenemos que ponernos abajo ahí toda la noche, esperar que escampe. Y sin poder dormir porque ya no podemos lanzar la sana porque se moja todo, ¿me entiendes?
Is anybody helping them?
No, nadie.
The government?
Nadie.
Puede que nos ayude, pero no nos da dinero.
Y estás en la sala. A la cocina llegas allá y pides el agua a la cocinera. Siempre se cae uno despierto, ¿me entiendes?
Amigos se les robaron el teléfono.
Documentos.
Dormido y wow.
Wow, yes. ¿Quién les está robando las cosas?
Otro inmigrante.
O hasta las mismas personas que se la pasan por ahí bebiendo, que son americanos, ¿sabes? Y uno deja cualquier cosa por ahí. Vamos un momento al baño y cuando llegamos...
And is their goal, since they got here, they never want to leave the U.S. now?
Seguir adelante. Yo quiero llegar a China, si Dios me lo permite.
Hacer una vida aquí y cuando tengamos la visa viajamos en avión para Venezuela y nos regresamos, ¿sabes?
Queremos tener su estabilidad aquí, pero también ayudar a la familia allá, ¿sabes?
What's their dream jobs?
Nosotros no ponemos exigencia de trabajo, nosotros trabajamos de lo que nos pongan.
Para ver la calle.
De lo que nosotros nos pongamos
Nos interesa la plata, ser dinero.
a trabajar, a hacer su familia.
Can they talk about what's going on in Venezuela?
En Venezuela, bueno, que el gobierno nos está robando, ¿qué es lo que vamos a decir?
Said Maduro, yeah?
Claro. Todo.
López, esos son los coños de madre, los matan.
Esos son los que están robando al pueblo. En vez de ayudar al pueblo, lo que están es escoñetándolo. Y allá no se puede marchar, o sea, protestar porque allá te matan.
¿Usted? Preso.
No se puede.
No se puede porque te mata el mismo gobierno. Por eso no hemos sacado a Maduro, dígale así mismo.
If Maduro was gone and there wasn't crazy inflation, would they have still probably come or would they have stayed?
Tuviéramos en Venezuela, exactamente.
Todavía está.
Todo estuviera con normalidad.
Maduro quitó las misiones, la escuela para los adultos, para los niños, todo eso.
Todo ese
Puro para ellos. Y ya con esto no podemos ir para Venezuela por esta entrevista.
Vale.
Claro que eso se va a ver en todo el mundial y cuando vea a Maduro no podemos ir para
No lo
Venezuela.
deja entrar al país.
Pues, las caras las tengo.
No me importa que me vea mi cara. Preocupado yo. Aquí yo me
¿Quién la
quedo.
usa?
Él no puede hacer nada. ¿Quién la usa?
¿A quién la usa? Él no puede hacer nada.
Out of all the countries they had to go through, would they rate the United States as the hardest, the easiest?
El más difícil de entrar, claro.
Pero de todo lo-
México es el más difícil de recorrer.
Es más difícil que la selva. Esa es la verdadera selva.
México es la verdadera selva.
So the United States, without a doubt, is the hardest country to get into, but Mexico was way harder, more dangerous, and more scary to cross than that entire jungle that they had to do.
Why?
De Chile a México nos lanzamos un mes. Imagínate, un mes. Y México para recorrerlo hemos durado 7 meses.
And where'd they live?
En la calle también.
Calle, a veces refugio.
A veces rendábamos, a veces hacíamos plata para poder rendar, para poder comer.
Teníamos para arrendar, no teníamos para comer.
When they came to the United States, how did they get in?
A no todos nos entregamos y nos soltaron legal.
Gracias a Dios.
En la puerta 42.
Did they come before Title 42 ended or after?
Antes.
How were the Mexican people? Were they receptive of them?
Eso es como en todos lados, hay gente buena y gente mala.
If there's one thing that you each want to say to Americans right now,
Nos apoyan, que todos no somos malos, ¿me entiendes? Todos no somos delincuentes ni nada. Todos, muchos vinimos a trabajar, no a joder.
Claro que todos estamos por un futuro. No todos, pero sí la mayoría venimos por un futuro y a trabajar honradamente. A veces solamente por ser migrantes nos discriminan, ¿no?
Exactamente, la discriminación.
Mucha xenofobia se llama esa palabra.
¿Cómo piensan del presidente Biden de los Estados Unidos?
Ni por la mente.
No nos ha hecho malo. Por él estamos aquí, que nos dio la oportunidad de llegar aquí. Pero muchos como nosotros han hecho los malos. Claro, van aquí, van allá.
Porque
y
si
todos,
fuera por el
como
alcalde-
venezolanos, todos somos culpables.
Por uno pagamos todo.
El alcalde, el gobernador, el alcalde de aquí no nos quiere. El de Texas no nos quiere, pero ni un poquito.
what do they think of Trump?
Ah, no, entonces un sucio, se hecho una lacra ese mamagüey, ¿oíste? No, ese hombre no tiene compasión con nadie, yo ese hombre le vale verga a todo el mundo.
Uno lo hizo todo.
Does the wall work?
Uy, es difícil pasar, es un obstáculo demasiado.
Pero con Dios parte
Todo
todo,
es posible.
cadena.
But God breaks all chains.
Mira,
They made
legalcito.
it possible.
Mira,
Somos gringos.
¿Y eso qué?
Los papeles.
Los papeles,
This is their
The
legal
papers.
asilo.
Asylum, yeah? How long were they in custody for Border
Eso
Patrol?
nos lo dio migración.
Nosotros, ¿cuánto duramos?
5 días.
5 días duramos nosotros. Pero hay mucha gente que dura 10, 15, 20.
30 locas y
A un mes. O bueno, pórtase bien.
portarse bien y tener fe.
Faith is a big deal to them.
Claro.
No, todo para adelante.
Anything on their whole journey here that sticks with them?
Muchos salieron y muchos niños muertos, mujeres embarazadas muertas. Los robaban, los mataban, sí, mucha locura.
Is your families worried?
Mi madre está muerta, mi abuela, mi hermano, mi padrastro está muerto. Tengo 4 niños.
Mi familia está en Ecuador. Sí, a veces que hablo porque no tengo ni comunicación, como dije, ya nos robaron el teléfono y quedamos fue
Tenemos techo ni sirve,
sin sirve.
nada, ni señal tiene.
El chiste es de México, imagínate, no sirve.
Aquí no tenemos comunicación, a veces que podemos hablar con la familia de nosotros, la familia de nosotros preocupada porque a veces no tienen comunicación con nosotros, ¿me entiendes?
Son muertos.
Ven las noticias, ellas ven cosas que nosotros no vemos, ¿me entiendes?
Dile que se me puede dar esa troca para allá para Denver, para subir una...
He goes, bro, you can just give me the truck. We can all fit in there. Got a jacket.
Gracias, hermano. Vamos a comprar los pasajes. Vamos a comprar pasajes.
Entonces, ¿dónde vamos ahorita?
Vamos a terminar.
Y de aquí se dirigen a Denver.
Gracias a Dios.
A empezar la nueva vida.
Así mismo, a comenzar a trabajar.
El que está con Dios, todo es posible. Todo en esta vida es posible con Él. Ey, manda. Desde aquí allá vamos 4 horitas.
4 horas de aquí, empezamos 16, huevón.
Son 4, hijo, te estoy diciendo que hice en la mañana, pero tú eres
4 horas.
terco. 4 horitas.
Ok, Trivi.
All right,
Lo compraron malísimo.
you sir, man. Are you ready?
Muy bien, papita.
Venezolanos son caballerosos.
Como siempre, aquí en el terminal Limosine, bueno, que el amigo Trivi parece que va a comprar los pasajes de Venezuela para el Ok. Periodista chico.
Ok.
Oye, man. Oye, man.
Oye, man.
El hombre se está vacilando.
Una fotico, pues. Una fotico.
¿La comida dónde nos consiguieron?
Aquí hay un camión
Regalaron,
que te dando esto. Viene todos los días.
Ah, vienen para nomás
Un
ayudar.
día sí, un día no, un día sí.
¿Y los otros fueron a terminar de lavar?
Para que se vaya el sol.
Esta es la lavandería de nosotros los venezolanos. Yo con ese pana. Llevamos el carro, patrón, ese es otra vez. El otro. Marico, niño, nos vamos ido y te estamos emocionados. Tío, mamagote, estoy hablando claro que está feo.
Entonces, ¿qué planes hacer en Denver? La primera cosa.
Trabajar aunque sea una semana para llegar a nuestro destino.
¿Y el destino final?
Chicago.
Dime otra vez, ¿por qué Chicago?
Porque es
hay
el país de las
trabajo.
mujeres solteras.
Ay, bueno.
Una de las cosas y hay muchas fuentes de trabajo.
No, te está limpia, fa.
Y nos quiere la alcaldesa de allá, el alcalde de allá, nos quiere mucho a los inmigrantes. La barba está bien.
How long have they been cleaning clothes?
Esto, ¿ves?
¿Por cuánto tiempo vas lavando ropa aquí en la calle?
Desde que nos soltaron. Desde que nos soltaron.
Como 4 meses.
Sí, esto nos lo regalan aquí mismo. Aquí mismo nos regalan todo, champú, crema, cepillo. Todo, champú, crema, todo.
Still keeping the shoes clean too, huh?
Vea, pues.
Ok.
¿Cómo mirar los pantalones?
Y una broma. Jala. ¿Se quedó, pues? All right. A ver si pongo el mío por aquí arribita, Pri. No puede echarse el zapato para allá, Pri. Ahí va aquí al ladito de este. A poner el...
Espera ahí, Trico.
Platícame un poquito de cómo estaba la situación aquí en la calle hace un ratito, cuando había mucha
Aquí la
gente.
vida estaba fea, demasiada gente, no tenía ni siquiera dónde dormir.
¿Cómo cuánta gente crees?
Más de 2.000 personas había aquí.
2000, nomás aquí en este pueblito.
Aquí nada más este pedacito, aquí en el René, está a 2 cuadras.
Pero la migra lo recogió a todo para darle el permiso.
La migración, sí.
No, bueno, no todo, pero sí.
A muchos devolvieron, pero a muchos dejaron también, ¿me entiendes?
¿Y qué era cómo hicieron esa decisión a quién dejar que se queden y quién no?
Por suerte.
Ahora, porque no tenemos para comprar, tenemos que lavar, ¿qué más?
¿Cuánta ropa tienen?
No, yo tengo...
Yo nada más tengo esto.
Usted lo que ve a la vista. Amén. Sí, ya nos vamos.
Estos ya se van.
¿Cómo?
Sí, gracias a Dios.
Dios no puso el milagro hoy.
Cayó desde el cielo,
La verdad que
como
sí.
quien dice.
No, es que las cosas cuando le agradecemos, caen las cosas del cielo.
Sí, cuando pedimos con fe.
Cuando pedimos de rodillas y le pedimos a Dios con el corazón en la mano.
En la mano, por eso están aquí. Pero no se les olvide esto, que están lavando pues, porque al rato van a tener máquina y la van a poner.
Por favor de
Se van
Dios.
a sentir muy, muy
nunca.
Este momento es el más hermoso del mundo.
La humildad no se nos puede ir nunca.
No, créame que si se nos va, si se nos olvida.
Para
que
eso
tan
son para la
maravilloso.
gente que son
Sabemos de dónde venimos.
Claro, sabemos de dónde venimos y sabemos lo que hemos luchado para estar aquí donde estamos hoy en día.
Sí, porque sí, hay mucha gente en Denver.
Sí.
Mucha gente, ¿eh? Y ahí los refugios están así llenos, ¿eh? Para que vayan con mucha paciencia.
Ok, madre.
¿Sale?
En el nombre de Dios.
¿Tú crees que Denver es el mejor lugar para ir?
Híjole,
¿De
cualquier
refugio?
lugar con fe es el mejor lugar.
Ok, eso me gustó. Esa me
Cualquier
gustó.
lugar con fe y que siempre digan por gloria de Dios.
Amén.
¿Ella quién es?
Ellos son voluntarios de ahí del
Del
albergue.
refugio.
La iglesia allá es quien le ayuda a conseguir trabajo.
Allá,
En-
no, allá nos ayudan es con los pasajes para el destino para donde nosotros vamos. Pues. Yo por lo menos, yo voy para Atlanta porque allá está mi esposa. Ella pasó en marzo. Tampoco tenía dónde llegar, pero ahí allá un amigo lo ayudó.
Entonces sí, ustedes van donde hay ayuda.
Donde hay ayuda, donde alguien nos meta la mano.
¿A quién llamas?
A mi esposa.
¿Qué pasó?
Mira, se le gafa. Escúchame, voy a subir hoy para Denver, ¿oíste?
Espérame ahí porque yo ahora que estoy impulsando la plata y voy a ir para ese culo.
Ya está bien, ¿no? Pero te estoy llamando para que sepas, salgo como a las 7:30, ¿oíste?
Está bien, mi amor, gracias a Dios.
Yo te llamo más tarde.
Dale, mi vida.
Anda, pues te amo.
Cool.
Claro, chamo.
Wow.
Coño, hermano, que esté feliz ahora, ¿no?
¿A ustedes cuándo le agarraron?
A mí me agarraron en diciembre.
En diciembre.
Sí.
Y luego entonces, ¿cómo fue la cosa?
No, nos meten para una celda de esas que ellos tienen de migraciones, mientras que nos procesan. Nos dan burritos fríos con espinaca para ponernos a dormir.
Fuimos deportados a Nuevo Laredo en avión.
En Nuevo Laredo. De
Fuimos
aquí a Nuevo-
esposados aquí.
como si fueran unos delincuentes.
De aquí para las manos y de las manos pasa por aquí, por la cintura, como si fueran unos delincuentes.
No, en Nuevo Laredo todavía está la migración estadounidense, ese es de este lado.
De ahí nos pasaron para Piedras Negras, pero de este lado, ¿no?
De aquel lado.
De aquel lado.
Ya Piedras Negras, de aquel lado.
Y de ahí nos entregaron a la migra de México. Y de la migra de México esa vez duramos como 5 días más presos, más o menos, ¿no, Rema? Más o menos 5 días más presos y de ahí fue que nos soltaron.
Si Dios me lo permite, me puedo traer a mi mamá, a mis hermanos. Si Dios me lo permite.
Yo no, yo le mando plata para allá.
¿Y tu esposa está trabajando?
No, ahorita no, porque tiene la mano operada.
She had to do surgery on her hand. ¿Por qué la operaron?
Porque se estaba trabajando y ¿cómo se grapó la mano con una grapa.
There's 3 cousins and then 2 brothers, but they're all part of the same family. Cuando se van de Venezuela, ¿el gobierno de ahí te trata de parar o nomás es lo que sea?
No, antes de salir, por lo menos antes de salir para llegar a la frontera con Colombia tienes que entregar por lo menos unos $1,000. Y ¿cómo te explico? Hay alcabalas, ¿sabes?
Alcabala.
Hay retenes policiales.
Ah, sí, ok.
Y en cada retén te paran el autobús y en cada retén le tienes que dar poco a poco.
Okay, so basically they do have to bribe their way out of Venezuela. It says it costs about $1,000 total, and it's just bit by bit. Every time you come to one of the military checkpoints, you just give a little bit. Como a cuánto le da? Okay, so it could be more than 1,000 at the end, because really you just get there and then whatever they say the bribe is, you have to pay, whether it be $100 or $300.
Well Fargo.
¿Qué dices?
Well Fargo.
Lo que quiero es chamba. Quiero mandarle dinero a mis niños para Venezuela, a mi familia.
Flaco, suéltale.
Todo con Dios se puede.
Amén.
Háblale claro, Pri.
All right.
Aquí mi esposa y está embarazada.
¿Está aquí?
Sí, voy a tener gemelas. La tengo en Denver.
Pues vas a ver ella ahora.
Sí,
Ya vas a verla.
Él va ahora para allá.
What do you say?
He's so excited to go see his wife. She's pregnant and she's got 2 babies.
In Denver?
And she's in Denver and he's finally
Ya
gonna
tiene
get to
un
go
gringo.
see her.
Voy a tener 2 gringas.
2 gringo kids.
Eso que lleva ahí es el aire de los cauchos, 39, 38.
Sí, es
el
la
aire.
presión de la llanta.
Siempre como una princesa.
Se la de Triqui.
Mira.
Ese no me gustó.
Esta es la que es hoy.
En la nave espacial.
Dime de tu viaje que cruzaste allá en la montaña, ¿cómo te fue?
Fue duro, pero aquí ya estamos, tú sabes. Hay que correr durísimo.
Pero todos no lograron
Todos
de ahí,
no,
¿no?
solo yo. Es porque no corren duro. Hay que correr más duro.
¿Y quién te corrió?
La migra,
¿Mexicana o americana?
la americana, pero me la pelan. Porque nosotros tenemos frontera con Venezuela, con Colombia. Y puedes pasar normal, así como si tú fueras allá a México.
Ah, ok.
Normal. Estaba cerrado, pues la frontera de Venezuela con Colombia estaba cerrada.
Entonces
Tenías que pasar por una trocha.
Entonces, ¿pagas a la gente en Venezuela o los colombianos?
Eso,
$10.
como $10.
¿Cada uno?
Cada uno.
¿Cuántas
Oye, pero
veces?
es que nosotros veníamos todo el grupo. Todos éramos nosotros éramos grandes, nosotros éramos como 40 personas, donde venían niños, familias, todos juntos, pues.
Como, ¿cuántos crees que llegaron al final?
¿Cuántos crees que llegaron? Si te soy sincero, se regresaron solo 3. Todos los demás, vamos en la USA, ¿viste? Todo. Es duro, ¿no?
Es muy duro.
Pero aquí estamos, somos guerreros de Dios.
When's the last time they
¿Cuándo
took
te
a
gustó?
legit shower?
Uy, Oaxaca, México.
¿Cuándo fue eso?
Are you kidding? Oaxaca?
Oaxaca, México.
Tú sabes que es lejos de acá para allá.
Far, man. They're gonna get a hot shower today, but
Él ha ido
they
para
gotta
Puerto
take them
Escondido.
quick.
like they got
Sí.
like 5-minute showers.
Que 5 minutos, 5 cada uno, rápido y se van.
No me digas, porque cambió el pasaje.
No, para allá
Nos
no
vamos a
cambia.
ver y vamos a hablar en inglés, ¿oíste? You sir.
Are they all gonna stay in Chicago? Is that the plan?
Sí, todos somos un grupo.
¿Sabes que yo quiero comprar? Una finca.
Escúchame.
Una finca.
Me gusta eso, una
Un
finca.
consejo.
¿Qué tienen los papeles aquí siempre?
Porque ese es el ID. Ese es el ID de nosotros aquí en Estados Unidos. Para que la migra no nos haga nada. El ID.
Coño, ese me lo mandó Dios allá, lo más allá para peinarme.
Ustedes vienen con nada, tú tienes aretes.
No, eso porque lo compré a ti.
Y el espejo.
Eso porque llegaron los policías, tránsito y estaba arriba una camioneta. Y lo pusieron a un lado y yo, como bueno un ciudadano, los agarré para mí. El espejo es gringo. Estaba ahí, tenía como 5 días ahí parado y no venía nadie. Pero llegó tránsito hoy y se lo llevó.
Yesterday they gave him bread over at the shelter.
All you had is bread.
Literalmente pan, nomás pan.
Pan con queso y agua. Queso amarillo.
¿Sabe fino?
¿Sabe fino?
Está bien.
Por lo menos le damos gracias a Dios que por lo menos comemos
Si es
algo.
comida, ¿verdad? Pues si hay tiempo, vamos a tratar de agarrar algo mejor que pan con queso ahorita. Venezuela, ¿cómo la gente vive?
La gente sobrevive.
Sobreviven del día a
Sobrevive
día.
a las cosas que está pasando ahorita en Venezuela.
Y viene peor las cosas en Venezuela, viene peor. Porque si tienes mucha plata, el gobierno te la quita.
Are you allowed to own a gun in Venezuela?
No.
Do you think if people were able to own guns, do you guys think you would have taken on Maduro?
Sí.
So
Pero
the-
Maduro no es huevón. Maduro le dio pistolas, armas a los que estaban con él, para que lo defendieran a él.
He's
So-
saying,
Y al
he's
pueblo,
Nada.
He's saying Maduro gave guns to people, the people that supported him. But anybody that didn't support him doesn't.
if the people in Venezuela had guns and overthrew the government, do you think a lot less people from Venezuela would come here?
Sí.
Sí, sí.
Would
Yeah.
they all stay and fight?
Claro, para responder, yo tengo hijos, yo tengo mamá, todas esas cosas, El gobierno es muy grande, el gobierno es una familia muy grande.
pero con
nadie
el pueblo
puede-
tampoco nadie.
Por eso, pero si estamos nada más nosotros 5, contra ellos no vamos a poder.
No, claro, obviamente.
He's just saying
Tenemos que
that,
ponernos todos de acuerdo.
Cardinos de Juárez.
No podemos
Di-
hablar de Juárez.
No, nosotros tenemos en el plan irnos a Juárez en
No
estos
vayas a
días.
Juárez. No vayas. Solamente te digo no vayas. Por cosas personales. No vayas.
How long were they in Juarez?
¿Por cuánto?
No te lo recomiendo.
No, yo no te lo recomiendo. Vete a otro lado.
Como digo,
Cancún,
hay
por
muchas
ahí.
cosas, mucha gente buena y mucha gente mala. ¿Ves? Y no te lo recomiendo porque hay una cosa de loco.
Eso no lo podemos hablar.
Ask him too.
Chama.
Si te buscan de aquí para allá, tal vez.
Los vecinos tuyos,
Los mexicanos, lol.
no es que es mala, sino es que ellos se ríen a lo que es, pues.
Plata o plomo.
Plata o plomo es con ellos, pues, si me entiendes.
Nos secuestraron 4 autobuses, Ale. 4
Ask him
autobuses.
though, like-
Secuestraron hace como una semana.
Yo conozco más de 6 nacionalidades. He estado preso con más de 6. Te estoy hablando Afganistán, ruso, chino, colombiano, ecuatoriano, peruano, chileno,
guatemalteco.
guatemalteco, nicaragüense,
Salvadoreño. Peruano.
hondureño, ¿cuál más? Dominicano, boliviano en la madre, brasileros también.
Brasilero.
De Trinidad y Tobago. No, mijo, si yo me pongo no.
Mucho,
Conozco
mucho.
más de 15
Haitiano.
países.
Han muerto de toda clase de gente.
Ahí muere de todo.
What stops that?
¿Qué creen que es la solución? ¿Qué podemos
Ayudarnos,
hacer?
porque todos somos inmigrantes y no sabemos la vuelta que da la vida. Hoy estamos abajo, mañana podemos estar arriba y nuestro país estaba bien y mira dónde estamos nosotros hoy en día, ¿sí me entiendes? All right. No, nadie, eso no las comemos.
Dame una para guarda la otra 3 para allá, nadie.
Dámelo.
Llévate esta.
¿Y ahora de cambiar el pantalón?
Ahora, papá.
Aquí te esperamos. Un abracito porque ya se va.
Un abrazo.
De la mamá Coco.
Wow.
La mamá de nosotros.
La mamá de la calle, ¿no?
La mamá
De los migrantes.
Mami, tu mamá Coco te va a extrañar mucho, ¿viste?
Yo también te quiero
Muy
mucho.
agradecido contigo que nos alimentaste.
Te quiero mucho, bye bye.
Suéltale.
¿Cuántas horas son de aquí a Denver? No sabes.
5.
5 horas. Ok.
Familia, bro.
Chicago.
3.